Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jupiter James, where I do what I want, when I want, and today I want to get into some astrology, more specifically my in-depth rising sign series. And the rising sign is the most important sign to me as a predictive astrologer. Whenever I am at a bar, at a club, meeting new friends, meeting new people, the main thing I ask is, what's your rising sign? Because for me, the nosy person that I am, I want to know what childhood you grew up in. I want to know how other people see you. I want to know the most direct energy and most potent energy that you give off to the world. I want to know the people that you attract, the type of career that you're in, and that will determine and will be determined from your rising sign. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into it. So today we're going to get into the Aquarius, the very inventive, individualistic, sometimes detached, futuristic thinker of the zodiac, Aquarius. So as an Aquarius rising, you are going to be a free thinker. You're going to be an adventurous person. You are going to be someone that people see that cannot be tethered down and who is an individual. You probably have a lot of connections, but you are not tied down to those connections. It's like someone who is a man of the world or a woman of the world, but no one really has a hold or a tight grip on this person. And this person is always thinking about their friends and their family and the world at large. Person to person, this person could probably be very emotionally detached or not very forthcoming with who they are and how they feel about things. But what this person does excel at is being someone who loves the public and loves people and loves humanity and wants to show up in the world as a figure that helps change humanity for one way or another. And so when you have Aquarius in the first house, this is going to mean that you have Uranus in the first house. And so again, this speaks to that story of the way you look. You're going to have a very striking appearance. You're going to be someone that looks probably very androgynous or very futuristic in some shape or form. You're not going to really fit the mold. And you yourself, who you are, because the first house is your body, it's you. It's going to be you're just going to be very striking, and whether that be in a avant-garde sense in the way you dress, in your hairstyle, in who you are in your personality, you are going to be a very striking figure. You're going to be someone that people go, whoa, like you have a strike about you. Like, you know, they say Uranus is a thunder strike, and so you're going to have that quality about you. Now, when you've got Pisces in the second house, this is going to mean that you've got Jupiter and Neptune in the second house, and so you probably are going to make your money in very creative ways, in a very creative field, or with music, or, you know, with something very creative. With Neptune and Jupiter ruling this sign, it's going to mean that you are going to have to rely on your creativity and your faith and your hope and your intuition to make you money in some shape or form. Now, with Jupiter there, I would like to say that you are probably very lucky with making money. You're probably very very lucky in what you make. Now, I will also say that with Jupiter and Neptune here in this house, this also with the second house, this is the material possessions that you have and like what you like. You like very mystical, very faith-based driven things. You like crystals, you like occult books. You probably love just very abstract things. You know, you are a very creative individual, and that's a value that you hold true to yourself. Now, with third house in Aries, third house Aries is going to mean that for you, you say what's on your mind, and you don't care who it hurts, you don't care what it affects. It is the way it is. That's how you are, and this is how you operate. And for you, your mind is probably always going. So like when you think about something, you put it into action, and that's what it is. When you think about something, you put it into action, and your thoughts are your actions. You know, Aries is a very action-oriented sign, so Mars lends its communication with, if you're someone who it's like, I can show you better than I can tell you, if that makes sense. You know, people will show, well, people, but this sign specifically, Aquarius, shows you better than they can tell you. Now, with fourth house in Taurus, this is going to mean that you come from a very stable family. Venus is ruling this house for you when Taurus is in this house, and so this is going to mean that your mother was a very stable figure growing up. You came from a very stable, background. Your family is a background that you can look back on and go, you know, if all else fails, I have a home that I can go back to. And it's a home that when you do go back to it, it's very harmonious, it's loving. It's like you love your home, the home you grew up in. You know, the childhood family dynamic was very good for you. Yeah. So now with your fifth house in Gemini. Fifth house in Gemini is going to mean that you are going to like people who say what's on their mind. You're going to like people who, you know, in the dating world, you're going to like friends and being out. You're going to be very, very social. You're going to be a social person. Again, this speaks back to that story of someone who, you know, you are a person of the world and you like to be out in the world. You feel the most comfortable out in the world. And yeah, you're like, things can happen quick. If someone's not mentally stimulating you in your love relationships, you're out. You're like, gotta go. You need to be mentally stimulated, and things need to happen very quickly. Like, yeah. So with your sixth house in Cancer, your sixth house in Cancer is gonna mean that for you, in your job field, you've got the moon ruling this house. And so for you, you're gonna show up as a very supportive individual within your career. Whatever you do for your career, it's gonna require you to support others and be a supportive figure. With Leo in your seventh house, you're gonna attract people who are very, very magnetic, and they have a sunlight about them, or a glow, an aura, a certain presence about them. They're gonna maybe be famous or be famous-like, or they're just gonna have their own thing about them. You know, you like Leos. You like people who are in the spotlight and who are doing their own thing and have their own je ne sais quoi about them, because you kind of see yourself like that. You know, you're like the sister sign of Leo, or not, I don't want to say the sister, you're like the counterpart of Leo, because for you, being an Aquarius rising, you are someone who, it can go two ways, right? It can be like either you are a very nerdy individual, you're a very like, you know, I just would rather not do what everyone's doing kind of individual, and that is what makes you stand out, right? And so you are like Leo. Leo is like the mainstream version of that. It's like Leo is gonna do what is mainstream to be seen, and they're gonna be the best at it, if that makes sense. And so you like people who have their own sense about this, or their own spotlight. You just love a good spotlight. And it's so funny because when you're in relationships with people who probably have their own fan club, or who are famous, or, you know, who are extremely beautiful, you're gonna treat them just like everyone else. No, you're not gonna treat them like everyone else. You're gonna treat them as if they are everyone else. And that for Leo is gonna be like, what do you, excuse me? Like, because Aquarius just doesn't, I don't wanna say Aquarius doesn't care. Aquarius is just so, Aquarius is the cool kid at the party who, for the sake of being cool, just doesn't care. And whenever a Leo finds an Aquarius, they're like, wait, what do you mean you don't care? And that is what captures Leo's attention, because Leo is always like, everyone loves me. And the fact that you don't, excuse me, who are you, Aquarius? Who are you, Aquarius rising? That is what the type of people and the dynamic that you get yourself into. And you will also find yourself in careers like that as well, where your career thrusts you into the spotlight. It thrusts you out. You have to be out. You have to be expressing. You have to be showy. You have to be creative. You have to be out there as much as you don't want to be as an Aquarius rising. So with your 8th house in Virgo, this is going to mean that for you, you're a giver in the bedroom. You are someone who gives a lot. Like, you are a server. You like service, and you give service. Like, yeah, you're probably very, like, you are very meticulous in the bedroom, or when it comes to your intimacy and your bonds and other people's resources, you're very meticulous. You're probably very good at your taxes. You're very good at, like, getting to the bottom of what people need and who they are, because for you, with Virgo, you can see into like the details. The details for you, as far as like who someone is like very important to you. Now with Libra in the 9th house, this is gonna mean that Venus is ruling this house, and it's also gonna mean that for you, your father was a very beautiful, stable figure. Your mother and your father were two very stable individuals, and yeah, they were very, your dad probably taught you a lot. Your dad probably taught you right from wrong. You are also someone that in foreign lands, you find beauty, you find grace. Like things are better. Traveling is always a smooth ride for you. Like turbulence is probably unheard of. You are probably someone who travels a lot, and when you travel, things don't go wrong. You probably hear these stories of like, oh my God, my bag got lost, and it's for you. When you travel, it's like a breeze because Venus is ruling your travel sector. So with your 10th house in Scorpio, this is going to mean that in your career, you are going to be someone who seeks to transform others, transforms the public, transforms yourself. You are probably a very magnetic figure in your job, or you are just someone who simply has to see into the root of things. It's not just for face value, and things are not to be taken for face value, and it's going to require you to really dive deep into what the person, situation, company, job means or is, and from there you are able to transform it for the better. With 11th house in Sagittarius, again, this is a travel sign in the future. So in the future, you're going to be someone who travels. You probably have friends from all walks of life. You are going to be someone who loves people from all walks of life. Black, white, green, Asian, purple, polka dot, black, yellow, Puerto Rican. Like you just like different types of individuals and people who can teach you something. And you're very lucky in the friend sector. You probably have a lot of friends, and of course you do because you're an Aquarius rising. And Aquarius rising is like the friend, it's like the friend's friend. Everybody wants to be your friend, you know, and you're very social. So with Capricorn in the 12th, this is gonna mean that for you, you are a very analytical person. You are a very practical person. You are a very technologically driven person. And so for you, that for you is this most spiritual thing for you and the most spiritual you can get. And so I'd say that with Capricorn here, it takes a little bit of time for you to come around to the spiritual side of things, because with Capricorn here, it just means that in your older age, you might become a little bit more spiritual, but in your younger years, you're just not focused on that. And that part of your life is very blocked off to you. It's not something that you're thinking about on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so that was Aquarius rising. I hope this helped you in some way, shape, or form. Now, everyone's birth chart is different, especially when you put the planets there in their respective houses, or your unique configurations of the planets in those houses, right? So if you would like a detailed reading of what your chart as an Aquarius rising is saying for you, hit the links below. I do career readings, love and destiny readings, birth chart readings, general readings. You know, I know the stars have a message and a solution for you, and I would love to relay that message, all right? So I will see y'all on the next video, and y'all have a great day. Bye.